Hey everyone, ready to dive into the future. We're always talking about education and technology. Well, get this. Today, it's augmented reality in the classroom.
Ooh, AR, always a cool topic.
Yeah, but we're going deeper than just the cool factor. How can AR actually help teachers and transform how kids learn? That's the real question.
And you know what's really exciting? We're looking at research where teachers themselves are sharing their experiences and ideas.
It's not just speculation, this is straight from the source.
Right, exactly.
The study's called, get this, Development of Design Principles for AR Authoring Tools for Education Based on Teachers' Perspectives.
Catch you, right.
But seriously, they talked to over 100 teachers.
Yeah, interviews, surveys, the whole shebang.
And they found some really interesting things.
One of the biggest things that jumped out, at least to me, was how much the lack of basic infrastructure is holding AR back.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. We're
this-
trying to take your students to a virtual coral reef,
Okay.
but your internet connection can barely handle email. Yeah. It's like promising a field trip, but the school bus is broken down.
Totally. So unreliable internet's a biggie. What else did they find?
Well, the teachers talked a lot about the software they would use to create these AR lessons, the authoring tools.
Right.
They said a lot of them just aren't designed with their needs in mind.
What does that even mean?
Well, teachers need tools that are easy to use that fit into their crazy schedules.
Of course.
Not something that feels like learning a whole new language. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
It's got to be about working smarter, not harder.
Especially for teachers. They have so much on their plates already.
Exactly.
So the tools need to be user-friendly,
Yes.
efficient.
100%.
Anything else the teacher said?
Time. It always comes back to time.
Makes sense.
They're already so busy. Adding AR can't feel like a whole other job.
Right. It's got to be sustainable.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So understanding those challenges, the researchers then dug into what teachers actually want in an AR authoring tool.
Ooh, now this is interesting.
Right, and they were spot on. They broke it down into three main things. Infrastructure,
Okay.
the actual augmented reality stuff itself.
Of course.
And then this is big pedagogical features.
Which is how it connects to actual teaching, right?
Exactly, the art of teaching.
Okay, so break it down for us.
Okay, so starting with infrastructure, one of the clearest messages was that offline functionality is critical.
Really?
Oh yeah, they need tools that work whether they're in a tech-savvy classroom or a building with terrible Wi-Fi.
Wow, meeting teachers where they are, literally.
Exactly, no teacher left behind, right?
I love it.
And then there's the devices themselves.
Are we talking fancy headsets? What's the deal?
That's where it gets really interesting. Most teachers and their students are mainly using smartphones.
Oh, wow.
So forget the expensive tech. It's all about designing for what people already have.
Smartphones, that's pretty accessible.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Meet them where they are, like you said.
Right. And speaking of meeting needs, remember how we were talking about clunky interfaces? Well, the teachers were very clear. They need authoring tools that are designed well.
Yeah, no one wants to spend hours figuring out how to use the software.
Exactly. Intuitive, clear instructions.
They don't have time to waste.
Exactly. It needs to be efficient.
So that's interface. What else?
They were also really big on support, like dedicated support.
Makes sense. Having the tool is one thing, but knowing how to use it well is another.
Totally. They talked about training, like really good training.
Communities of practice, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Help when you need it.
Exactly. All geared towards AR in the classroom, specifically.
Okay, so that's infrastructure. But what about the AR itself? Like, what are teachers looking for in the experiences they're using?
Content libraries. Big one.
What's that?
Basically, teachers don't have time to create everything from scratch, right?
Makes sense.
So imagine a huge library of 3D objects, historical artifacts, you name it.
A whole virtual museum at your fingertips.
Right, ready to just drop into lessons.
That would be amazing.
Right.
No more scouring the internet for hours.
Exactly.
Okay, so content libraries. Got it.
And then sharing. That was huge too.
Sharing.
Yeah, like being able to share AR experiences with other teachers.
Oh,
So
interesting.
you create a cool lesson, you share it, someone else can use it, build on it.
Like a network of educators all sharing ideas.
Exactly. Fostering collaboration.
Love that. So it's not just about using AR, it's about building a community around it.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
And then going along with that, content curation.
What does that mean?
It's like, how do you know the AR content you're using is any good?
Oh, right. It could be a bunch of junk out there.
Exactly. So teachers need ways to evaluate the quality.
Like a seal of approval, reviewed by other educators.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, that makes a lot of sense. You don't just want anything, you want quality stuff.
Exactly.
So we've got infrastructure, we've got the AR experiences themselves.
And now, for the big finale, the pedagogical stuff. This is where it all comes together, right? Connecting AR to how we teach.
Yes, and one of the most interesting findings here was the teacher's excitement about data.
Data!
Yeah, like analytics.
Data, huh? Not exactly the first thing that comes to mind when I think about AR, but I'm intrigued.
But think about it. It's not just about whether kids think AR is cool. It's about whether they're actually learning.
Of course, that's the whole point.
Exactly. So imagine an authoring tool that not only lets you create these AR experiences, but also gives you insights into how students are using them.
Okay, so like what are they actually doing in the AR?
Exactly. How long are they spending on an activity? Are they working together well? Are they getting it? These are all things teachers want to know.
Totally, and AR could actually show them that.
Exactly. It's like a window into how they're learning in this new environment.
That's pretty amazing when you think about it.
It is. And then this one's really cool, co-creation.
Co-creation, what's that?
It's about students becoming the creators, not just the consumers of the AR.
So instead of just experiencing AR, they're building it themselves.
Yes. Imagine students designing their own historical simulations.
Whoa, that's next level.
Right. Or virtual ecosystems.
With their own little worlds.
Exactly. And the teachers in the study were so excited about this. They really believe in the power of students building things themselves.
I can see why it just feels so much more engaging.
It is. It's
Yeah.
not just an assignment, it's theirs, you know?
Yeah, that sense of ownership, that pride, it totally changes things.
Absolutely.
Okay, but let's talk about the elephant in the room, classroom managed.
Oh, I know, right? How do you actually manage all this?
Yeah, because as cool as AR is, it can't just be chaos in the classroom.
Exactly. And the teachers talked about this a lot. They need tools that work within their existing practices.
So it's about enhancing what they already do, not replacing it.
Exactly. Control without stifling creativity.
I like that, so they can still guide the learning.
Exactly.
Okay, and what about assessment? If we're teaching with AR, shouldn't we be assessing differently too?
100%. And the teachers agreed. Traditional tests just don't cut it when you're talking about designing virtual worlds and stuff.
So what do you do instead?
Well, one idea was integrating rubrics directly into the AR.
Interesting, so they get feedback as they're building?
Yeah, like real-time feedback.
That's cool.
And it's all tied to the learning objective, so it's all connected.
Makes sense.
And peer assessment came up too, students learning from each other.
Oh yeah, that's always powerful.
It is.
So we've talked about all these amazing ideas from teachers, but did any of the existing AR tools actually impress the researchers?
One platform did stand out. CoSpace's EDU.
CoSpace's EDU, I've heard of that.
It's specifically designed for education.
Makes sense.
And it aligned more closely with what teachers want than any other tool they looked at.
Interesting. So it's not perfect, but it's getting there.
Exactly, which just shows that developers need to be listening to teachers,
Absolutely. It's all about what works in the classroom.
100%.
Well, this has been eye-opening. It feels like AR in education is at a really exciting turning point.
It is. The potential is huge.
Teachers are clearly excited.
They are, and now we have this roadmap, this research that shows what needs to happen to make it all work.
Exactly. It's not just about the technology itself. It's about how we use it.
And that's the big question. How do we use AR to really transform learning,
How do we make it more collaborative, more creative, just better?
Exactly.
And that's where you come in, our amazing listeners. We want to hear from you. Have you tried AR in your own learning or teaching?
What's got you excited? What's frustrating you?
Share your thoughts, your ideas. Let's keep this conversation going.
The future of learning depends on it.
It really does. Thanks for diving in with us.